Okay, so last week, Ted and I, well, that was 2 weeks ago. Ted and I, we talked about information security management system, document control, and so I hope you were also able to attend those courses. And we're coming up with a new lineup in the next 7 weeks, so watch out for that. And I think just to reiterate what Mike mentioned, we're also coming up with full versions of these webinars, no? Because we can also talk about, we can only talk about the gist or the summary of these topics. But if you'd really want to learn more in a rather much more in-depth discussion of these courses, we're doing full-blown courses for 1 day. So Mike will be, I'm very sure, communicating with you, sending you links on how to register to this full courses. And of course, we give certificates of completions for that, by the way. So do not forget to fill up the exit polls at the end of this webinar, as mentioned by Mike. We also wanted to know what your thoughts are. If you have suggested topics, anything related to management systems, to ISO standards, we will be very glad to bring it up here in this weekly webinar. So I think, Ted, you're all set.
Yes.
It is a bloody red slide starting off the day.
Red.
Okay, so let me now turn this over to Ted. Good morning, Ted.
Sige. Okay, so thank you, Jock, for the introduction. No? For today, I will be sharing sa inyo some insights, better understanding regarding corrective action. Now, I do believe I need to know muna in the beginning kung where you stand regarding corrective action. Para lang maintindihan natin kung why do you need to learn corrective action. May I know lang, no? Kung kayong mga umattend ay i-implement ng ISO, kaya you see the need for corrective action? Yan importante tanong, di ba? So, is anybody here, kahit sabihin lang yung yes sa chat box, no? Implementing ISO already, di ba? Certified sa ISO, doesn't matter kung ano number na yan. Ayan, meron tayo. Marie Estrella, Estrella, yan. Ayan, Richie Carol Escanilla, ayan. Yan. Yes, ayan. So, ayan. So, ang understanding ko is, that's why you attended, ililinaw natin kung bakit at papaano, di ba, gumagawa tayo ng corrective action. Now, if you are in the road of implementing best practices para sa organization niyo, no, naturally, part of the mandatory requirements would be continual improvement. Meaning, yung tinayo ninyong system, dapat sa haba ng panahon, gaganda ang takbo. Importante siyempre yun. Old school mentality na yung kapag nakuha mo yung ISO, pinababayaan mo na. And then, hanggang doon na lang yon. Most old school implementors actually made that mistake. Reason why, kapag once certified ka na, after 2 to 3 years, binabawi yung certificate. Kasi hindi na in-improve, hindi na inalagaan yung management system na tinayo. Now, that is a common problem with organizations trying to maintain yung ISO certification. Remember, the benefits ng ISO certification, no, is image and reputational marketing advantage. So, diba? So, kung ngayong taon, certified ka sa ISO, tapos ma-discover ng mga customers po next year, hindi na, it does actually say a lot about how the organization operates naman kasi. Malinaw naman din yon. Reflection yon. Kaya nga yung pag-certify sa ISO, talaga voluntary yun. You have to decide whether if you go into it, panindigan mo na yan sa haba ng panahon, di ba? Kasi kung pinabayaan mo, ipin-reflect na yung organization niyo, doesn't care about the discipline na ina-adapt nyo. Now, to be specific sa doesn't care na yan, paano kung ISO 9001 yan? Quality. Ibig sabihin, yung quality ng products and services nyo, sumasama din. kasi wala naman kasi yung certificate. Okay. Now, ang corrective action is a mandatory requirement of an ISO. It was intended para lahat ng mga problems, issues, incidents, mga opportunities of improvement, diba? Hindi ba na OFI as a matter of fact, no? So it's a naming convention. Maaayos niya. Best effort din naman yun, syempre. It's not a perfect process where you get an expectation na okay na lahat at the end, no? Hindi naman ganoon. But the corrective actions is actually part of the continual improvement section 10, kaso na ng mga kabasang ISO yan, of the ISO standard. Now, that's across all standards. Diba? All standards were revised to have the same format. But the challenge here is, maraming may corrective action na tinuyo, hindi naman nila ginagamit ng mabuti. So we're looking here at a well-placed system, but not a well-used system. Okay. Now, common problems talaga niyan is akala nila kasi mandatory requirement lang naman kasi yung corrective action na yan. Tinatayo yan. Oh, di ba? As a matter of fact, kung i-audit ko kayo, for example, at hahanapin yung mandatory, I am sure dinocument na niyo at nakasalang na sa manual ninyo. The problem is, kapag tinatanong ko kung nagagamit, ginagamit, gano'ng kadalas gamitin, nagiging problema. Kung napansin nga ninyo and I do believe baka ginagawa din ninyo, ng foremost entity na gumagamit ng corrective action sa inyong office ay si internal audit lang. Let's be truthful about it. Sa lahat ng pinuntahan kong organization, a vast majority nila, ang gumagamit lang ng corrective action ay si internal audit lang. Hindi proseso ng internal audit ang corrective action. Para malinaw tayo ron. Kaya nga yan nilagay sa section 10 for continual improvement. Sariling domain objective yan. The cross objective.
We can start with the preliminary.
It was intended to address lahat ng dinaanan ng system niyo, regardless kung ito ay non-conformity o just an operational issue, di ba? Na kapag dapat yan ay i-correct, tandaan ka sa section 10 na yan kung saan mahahanap mo yung corrective action. Ngayon, dahil dyan, nagko-confuse ang mga implementors kung sino ba dapat susulat niyan. Lalo na yung famous question na, sino ba may-ari niyang prosesong yan? Di ba? Ang dami ko na nakitang manual Ang naging may-ari, internal audit. Yun ang problema doon. Yung corrective action process na yan, ang may-ari niya is yung management system. Basically, operational procedure yan ng management officer nyo. Kung kayo ang quality management officer, sa iyo yan. Hindi yan sa internal audit team mo. Ay. This is your mechanism kasi para i-improve. Maganda yan. Comment na yan. Ang nagmamay-ari ay si document controller din. Magandang input yan. Kung hindi tinanggap ng internal audit yan, si document controller ang umako niyan. Okay. Now, si document controller ay one of the users niya. Hindi siya process owner niyan. Ang ownership ni document controller would be the famous document change control procedure. Di ba? Diba yun? Yung proseso to manage changes on documentation requirements of the system. Yun ang tamang rule nun. Now, quality assurance officer. Well, I assume it's just an assurance officer. But if you have an entire team, you have the assurance officer, the control officer, the compliance officer, and syempre the management. officer, owner of the entire system. Regardless, the process is part of the operational requirements of the management system, meaning the basic 6 mandatory procedures of an ISO is actually owned by the management officer in the end. Now, most organizations are, because of that situation, having a challenge in implementing, struggling, and trying to have determine the right implementation of yung corrective action. Now, let us put in a few understanding. Sa ISO, minention to, malinaw tayo, that corrective action is a good way to help the directives of continual improvement. Pero maraming ibang bagay na makakatulong. And one of them is just your plain correction. But there's a difference. Correction is not corrective action. By definition ng implementation sa ISO, a correction is kung saan may nakita kang problema o issue o situation na hindi na maganda. At agad-agad inayos mo. Inayos mo. Parang, ito sira, kabit ko, o mandar na. Ganun lang. Kinorekt mo. Okay. But the problem between that and corrective action, the difference is that corrective actions actually dig deeper. Corrective action wants, yes, same goal, to fix yung problem and issues, correct, or the non-conformance, pero gusto niya makasigurado na sa future, maiiwasan ang mangyari ulit yan, or hindi na mangyari ulit yan. The challenge of implementers, the struggles, basta paano mo mahuhuli yan? Kasi kung ayos ka ng ayos at every year, ulit ng ulit yan, technically speaking, hindi kayo nag-i-implement ng effective corrective action system. Yun ang pinapakita nung galaw na yun. Now, it is siyempre understood na every problem, every issue, every non-conformance and non-compliance, kailangan i-correct. Understanding yun. But, naturally, the best solution is ayaw mo na at matanggal mo na yung problema yan para hindi naman yan sa inyo. So, corrective action is actually the best solution because it ensures na hindi na yan babalik at hindi na yan uulit. Now, tignan natin nakalagay sa section 10. Now, I generalize this para it fits the pattern across all the ISO. Regardless kung anong number niya. Sabi sa requirement ng ISO na yung organization will select opportunities for improvement and implement the necessary actions para ibigay yung hinihingi ng disiplinang objective. In this case, 9,001 yan, quality. Enhance customer satisfaction and quality of products and services. According to Section 10, we need actions para i-improve yan, i-correct yan, diba? I-prevent na mangyari ang mga problems na yan, bawasan yung sakit na maibibigay ng mga problema niyan. And ultimately, pagandahin yung performance ng inyong system kayo. So nakita mo, improvement can include correction and corrective action. As stated in the standard, and I do believe, sana nabasa ninyo. Under Section 10 yung nakikita din, yung non-conformity and corrective action. Medyo clarify natin yan para sa matagal nang nakakaalam ng ISO. Because prior to the current version, it was actually written corrective and preventive action. May preventive yun. Baka tanongin nyo, ba't saan napunta yung preventive na yun? Mamaya explain ko yan kung saan pumunta yan. Okay. Now, sabi ng standard, kapag may non-conformity, kailangan mag-react ka. Non-conforming na nga. At kailangan, bigyan mo agad ng aksyon para ma-eliminate mo yung cause of the non-conformity. Now, a non-conformity can crop up kahit kailan. Hindi namimili ng panahon na, kaya nga non-conformity yan. Kunyari, bukas, bigla na lang yung mga produktong lumabas sa planta mo, mga madaling mabulok na. Ganun. O hindi. After a week, yung mga in-order sa inyo ng mga equipment, lumalabas, hindi umaandar. Hindi mo masabi, hindi ka pipilian ng panahon yan. Now, because of that, hindi yan obviously napupunta sa kamay ni audit or ni document controller. Hindi now safe. Yan, kapag nag-arise yan, kailangan magamit agad. Kaya nga ang users ng corrective action, users ay yung gagamit, ay lahat ng nasa ilalim ng scope ng implementation ng QMS nyo. Doesn't matter kung maliit kang tao sa loob. Kung may nakita kang problema sa trabaho mo, a process that supports the provision of services and products to your end users. Oo. Mag-file ka kaya ng corrective action. May problema. Ayusin mo yan. Kaya nga, importanteng maintindihan kung saan yan process standards sinasabing kailangan gawin. And don't forget, it is an ISO requirement, mandatory, has to be well documented and records retained ng mabuti. Okay? So now, corrective action is a process that requires na mahuli ninyo yung dahilan because of kung bakit yung non-conformity na yan or yung problem na yan or yung issue na yan ay nangyayari. Then, yung mga magiging actions mo dapat inayos, pinigilan, o sa future, hindi na niya pwedeng mabigyan ng paraan na mangyari ulit yun. Okay. Yun actually ang kailangan tinayo ninyo. Tignan mo yung ganda nun pag gano'n ang ginawa mo. Sa haba ng panahon, kung lahat ng kusot ng inyong opisina ay naayos mo, di gaganda yung takbo ng inyong opisina sa haba ng panahon. Kasi bawat problema ay naayos mo, hindi na uulit. Aba, hindi mo naman may ayaw nun. Okay? Yan, maglinaw din tayo para yung terms na may encounter mo with the corrective action. Yung non-conforming. Oo. Alam mo, dahil sa non-conforming niya, kaya akala nila, kaya internal audit yan. Oo naman, user din sa internal audit niya, no? Siya kaya makakahuli ng lahat ng non-conforming niya. So, a non-conforming product or process is what is the result of a product or a process, no, na hindi ibinibigay yung expectation ng organization's requirements o ng client's expectation. Okay. Specifications yan na hiningi in the end ng inyong mga end users or end clients. Okay. Yan. Now, a correction, syempre, like I mentioned earlier, refers to a instant repair, an ayos, rework or adjustment. Naturally, it intends to fix whatever makita mo agad-agad. Para preferably umaandar ka na agad-agad. Hindi yung sira, tapos hindi mo naman magamit haba ng panahon. Kung hindi mo magamit na mabuti yan, hindi aandar ang kumpanya mo na mabuti sa haba ng panahon. Okay. Now, corrective action. Eto na yung action kung saan yung nakita mo kusot, ayusin mo. Ayan. By eliminating the root cause. Now, preventive. Saan nanggaling yan? Ideally, ang preventive action kasi is an action wherein kapag may nakita kang maaring mangyaring masama, pipigilan mo na yan para hindi makasama sa inyo. Kaya nga preventive ang tawag. Most corrective actions, kung inayos mo yung tamang cause, hindi na uulit yun. Kaya inherent ang preventive action sa corrective action. Therefore, isa na lang yan. Corrective action na yan. Now, in writing a corrective action, may mga vital information na kailangan ma-produce yung process na yan. ang mga dapat maging components niyan would be the rated information or data, diba? Relevant to the non-conformance ng mga proseso at produkto ninyo. Which means yung information ng problem, issue, yung non-conformity. Kailangan malinaw yon kung what exactly ba yung nangyari na hindi dapat nangyari. O, diba? What exactly ba yung nakasamang yan? Another component would be the cause. Yung dahilan. Ang bagay naman sa opisina, hindi basta-basta ganun nangyayari na walang dahilan. Kasama yan sa inyong action report. The other one is the actual listing of actions, your plan of actions regarding how to correct or prevent yung na-identify na non-conformance dun sa inyong system. Other information needed by the report is to validate or to verify if the actions na sinabi nyo gagawin nyo, nagawa at nakatulong. Kung effective. Malay mo, palpak naman pala yung ginawa nyo. This gives you opportunity na mag-reset ulit kayo ng bagong corrective action. Kasi baka naman mali yung pagkakahuli mo ng report. Communication information. Corrective actions are not for a single individual lang sa entire life cycle niya. It involves people from informing the end user na probably apektado ng problem or non-conformity, all the way hanggang management about the status of the system and yung mga bagay-bagay na mga nagkaroon ng problema na inayos nyo. That's why kasama yung resulta ng mga desisyon at saka yung input ng management through management review regarding your actions. And lastly, the follow-up plan. Some actions are short-term, some actions are long-term. If they happen to be short-term, di yung follow-up mo mabilis. Like, bukas gawin yan, bukas titignan ko yan. Follow-up pa rin yun, may bilang yung panahon. But naturally, depending on the capability and the resources available, some actions might be longer. So this is where you have a follow-up plan to check, monitor yung mga actions. Ito nga yung maandar, ito nga nagawa sa haba ng panahon. So, any questions? Malinaw yan? Alright. Now we have an understanding. Corrective action is a process, diba? Or a system, whichever you call it, diba? GISO never mentioned the word process anyway, para lang malinaw tayo about that part. Diba? So, corrective action is a process or system that is used to achieve continual improvement. The intent, siyempre nun, is to have continual improvement with the directives niya for the efforts of improving lahat ng mga proseso ninyo, lahat ng resources ninyo, sa lahat ng produkto at serbisyo ibinibigay nyo. Right? Continual improvement, hindi naman kailangan one-time, big-time, bigla, although mamaari naman ito. But it can be also incremental through time. Pwede nyo hati-hatiin yan, like I mentioned earlier, long-term plan ba? Pwede yan. Okay. Now, ano ang mga steps to perform corrective action? Now, what you see here is a simple 7-step approach lang. Siyempre, kayo, you can adapt this or you can slightly revise this based on nature of how your management system operates or probably the nature of the industry ang pinasukan ng inyong organization. But the 7 steps here shows you a direct approach on how to perform corrective action. We have defined the problem, defined the scope, contain actions, finding the root cause, planning for the corrective action, implementing the action, and later on, we follow. Now, first step, define the problem. You see, marami kayong madidiscover sa inyong organization. To be honest about it, maaaring sabihin ni iba, non-conforming yan. Sabihin ng iba, baka naman problem yan, no issue yan, di ba? O baka naman, kaya siya nagreklamo kasi nakakasama. But you need to validate muna kung tama yung nirereklamo sa inyo, o yung tinatawag sa inyo, o yung pinapatsik sa inyo. O, importante yun. Kasi hindi lahat na sinasabi ng mga tao sa opisina, baka naman, sa katunayan, non-conforming, o baka naman problem. Baka from their perception yun, problema. Pero actually, nung sinilip mo, hindi naman problema ng kumpanya, problema ng iba, problema ng tagalabas yan, di ba? Hindi naman problema yan, situation lang yan, but doesn't really cause a problem yet, di ba? You need to know kung valid yan bago mo tirahin ng action plan. Kasi in the first place, kung hindi naman problema yan, ba't mo naman bibigyan ng oras at panahon yan? So, nag-abala ka sa wala. Sayang lang ang efficiency at efforts ng corrective action. To find the problem, exactly, do initial diagnosis, do some investigation. Alaman niyo muna kung talaga yan ay true or not. Okay? Next, define the scope. Kapag nabigyan ka na ng valid na non-conformance o ng valid na problem, you need to know kung ano ang kasama dyan sa item na yan. You need to know kung gaano kalaki yan. Sabi, may problema tayo. Ano ba yung kasama dyan sa problemang yan? Sino ba ano ba apektado dyan? Isang department lang ba? Dalawang department? Lahat ng branches natin? Kailangan malaman niya. Kung naman manayos niya kung hindi mo alam kung tinamaan. Baka naman inayos mo isang department, hindi mo alam. Lahat ng regional branches ng inyong office, tinamaan. Di ba? For all you know, di ba? You need to define the scope. Having clarity on the scope of ng inyong determined or identified, validated non-conformance of problem will help you later on build a suitable action plan para i-address yan later. Now, containment action. Oo naman, di ba? The one thing na ayaw mo is nakikita mo na nga may problema at nagkukos na nga ng problem, hinayaan mo pang tumatakbo tuloy-tuloy. Trabaho ng quality control office kaya yan. Kung nakita mo ng, ang sama na nung resulta ng ating produkto. Lahat ng lumalabas sa planta natin, ang sama na, di ba? Ba't mo bayaan tumatakbo pa rin? Kino-contain na yan. Gumagawa ka ng stopgap measures na para yan, hindi na sumama. Tigilan mo muna yan. Tignan mo muna na mabuting problema. Huwag mo tayo kumilos, di ba? Tingnan muna natin kung anong dahilan yan bago mo palakarin yan. Kasi, iniiwasan mo nga na masira ang inyong reputation and image, di ba? In delivering quality services sa end-user client. So, kung masama niya, ba't may lalabas, di ba? Talagang trabaho ng quality control officer, tigil niya, di ba? Kundi, sasama yung ating mga satisfaction survey pag naabot sa kanila yan. Tama yan. Remember, concern mo talaga yan. Now, finding the root cause. The next step natin. Sabi natin ang corrective action is intended to look for the cause, the underlying issue. Ano ibig sabihin yan? Kung sino yung mga roles na naka-assign doon sa corrective action, and they may vary depending on the nature of the non-conformance or the problem. Kailangan yung corrective action analyst nyo, tinuruan nyo ng root cause analysis. Hindi pwede yan na tingin ko, yan ang dahilan yan. Tingin mo. Yan ang problema, tingin mo lang yan. Anong patunay mo na yan nga yan, di ba? Sa mundo ng ISO, sinabing i-document yung patunay na record na yan talaga yan. Kaya nga mag-perform kayo o mag-adapt kayo ng magandang method para kapag nag-root cause analysis kayo, pinakita nyo yung method na ginamit niyo at naging resulta. Common sa organizations yung 5 why. Why. Diba? At the end of the 5th why, makuha mo yung root cause. Or yung 5 why and 5 wives and 1 husband. How yung huli actually. And then there are also yung mga Ishikawa diagram. I'm sure marami na sa inyo nag-fishbone diagram dyan. Naka-basic yan. Tinuturo nga sa eskwela sa iba yan. Madalas ka ituro sa training yan eh. Tanong do kung ginagamit nyo. To be honest about it, kung gagamit kayo yung Ishikawa diagram niya, fishbone na yan, i-document nyo yan, i-attach nyo sa corrective action report yan kapag yan pinasenta mo sa management. Hahanapin kaya ng auditor yan. Sabihin ng auditor, Ito pala yung non-conformance mo. Ano root cause niyan? Sir, nag-fishbone ako eh. Ito lumabas. Asan yung fishbone diagram mo? Pakita nga. Ganun yung kaya kayo nun. Okay. Now, whatever naging resulta niya root cause na yan, it is a good effort to determine the right cause. And sometimes, syempre, hindi naman perfect yan. Do not look for perfect solution for that. So if the first one fails, you're gonna have to try again to do a study. But in the end, whatever naging output niyang root cause analysis na yan, alam mo na kung anong cause. Ngayon, pag planuhan mo na, plan a corrective action. This is where you find the gist of yung corrective action system or process mo. The actual step-by-step activities, actions na kailangan mo gawin in order to correct yung nakita mo based on the root cause na nahuli mo. You need to identify the resources needed in order for you to perform the action. Kailangan malaman mo kung anong gagawin mo, anong proseso, di ba? Kailangan malaman mo sinong gagawa, sinong responsible para dyan, sino dapat ang gumawa nito. And don't forget, action plans are plans. You need schedules, timelines, deadlines. Definitely, hard targets yan. Bawal sa atin ang asap-asap as soon as pwede. Sige, bawal talaga yan. Now, ang ganda ng plano mo. Nahirap sa ating Pilipino, magaling sa plano, wala sa gawa eh. And this is where the struggle actually comes, di ba? Pagdating sa mga implementation ng corrective action. Naturally, if you do have a corrective action plan, now's the time to implement the plan. The intent is to fix, di ba? To manage, di ba? To mitigate yung non-conformance na yan. Yung problem na yan, yung bagay na nakakasama sa organization niyo in terms of quality and provision of service and products nyo. Kailangan i-follow through mo yung plan. Make it happen. Do it! Alam naman ninyo, di ba, yung plan, do, check, act na yan. Ang laki-laki kaya ng do dyan. Di ba? Lalo na yung act. Yun yan. Action. Sisalang mo. Eh, ano kayo? Hindi ko sigurado, baka mali yung root cause ko. Yun na resulta kaya ng study mo. Ituin mo. Yun na lumabas eh. Sabi ko naman sa iyo, hindi mapo-perfect yan. Kung masama yan, mag-root cause analysis ka ulit, tapos humuli ka ulit ng bagong action, ganun lang naman. Na everything is given the opportunity for improvement. And lastly, follow-up plan. The idea here, siyempre, is kapag kayo ay nag-roll out ng actions, kailangan tignan nyo, minsan i-monitor ninyo, kung yung actions ay nagagawa, ginawa, o dapat na-achieve yung end result na dapat nagawa. Okay, malinaw yan. So, follow-up plan. Make sure that your action plans actually did work. This is important. Kasi dito nyo malalaman kung yung final non-conformity of problem, in the end, naayos. Baka mamaya konti. Final mo, pero sa dulo niyan, ba't hindi pa ayos to hanggang ngayon? Most cases, people just file it. In reality, people don't actually fix it. Oo naman, for whatever reasons, diba? Pag yan nga, sinestematize mo eh. Tool. Bigyan ko yung example. Yung mga ginagamit ng help desk ni IT, yun. Yun, nag-automatic close ng ticket yun. No? Kahit hindi pa tapos yung issue, kino-close na niya yan para masabi na yung performance ng ticket management system, maganda. Masama yun. I'm telling you guys to make sure, huwag ganun. Kailangan mabuo yung cycle na yan. So, kung gagawin mo yan, improvement. Wala. Gumanda na. Umayos na ng konti yung inyong management system, pati yung mga proseso, produkto at serbisyo ang binibigay sa inyong organization. See? So that is how you implement corrective actions. And there's a few learnings probably on how to do root cause analysis and all the other smaller details of how yung roles sa pag-planning, the actual planning development. Kailangan nyo matutunan kung hindi nyo alam. But again, you can learn it on your own naman. Marami namang reading material yan sa internet. So, corrective actions are used when you react to a problem. While preventive, syempre, kung tingin nyo maaaring mangyari yan, i-implement mo para hindi na mangyari. Now, corrective actions. Yan ang importante at sikreto. Maitutulong yan sa inyong management system. Regardless if you are certified or not, if you are a practitioner ng best practices, gumawa ka ng corrective action kasi kailangan mo. Wisely using corrective actions for problems is the most effective way to ensure that whatever yung pangako ng discipline, like quality, yan ang ibibigay niya, driving yung continual improvement requirements ng inyong organization. So, do we have any questions?
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ted. Thank you. So far, I think we have addressed those common questions or clarifications. No,
From questions.
from my end, Ted, maybe I'd like to just emphasize this from my end. So, what is the fundamental difference between correction and corrective?
Ang correction, immediate fix yun. Inayos mo agad. Sometimes, kapag nag-file ka ng corrective action, may kasamang correction yun. Ayusin mo agad. Para umandar agad, hindi maipit yung trabaho. Diba, ayaw mo yung, for example, tuloy-tuloy yung pagbigay ng products and services. Tapos ayaw mo na i-contain, itigil mo agad-agad, diba? Kung pwede naman ituloy yan, ayusin mo lang yung kusot. Muna, temporary solution, correct mo muna.
Okay.
But then again, itutuloy mo pa rin yung corrective action, which means hahanapin mo yung root cause.
All right. So it appears, of course, na dapat mauna si correction, and then after your correction, kasi immediate solution siya, no, to the non-conformance, then you should do the root cause analysis. Obviously, in root cause analysis, you need to determine ano ba talaga ang punot dulo nito. And as soon as you have identified the root cause, that's the time that you will have to draft your corrective action. Having said that, the corrective action should be responsive to the root cause. Is that correct?
Dapat. It should address the root cause. Dapat, the plan should address the root cause.
All right. So another clarification here, Ted, is that lahat ba ng non-conformities ay may applicable na correction? Or pwede ba yung iba walang correction, you go straight to the root cause analysis and then dive straight to the corrective action?
Corrections naman, according naman din sa ISO, is kapag nakita mong makailangan magamit, which is correct ka. So sometimes hindi naman lahat ng ma-discover mo kayang lagyan ng correction. O kaya nga kung minsan pumapasok na yung containment, lahat ng ibang dapat mong gawin. Or whatever dapat mo pang gawin, you can do that as long as mag-correct ka in the end.
Okay. Sige. Ted, here's a question from Miss Janice Pinesios of the Misamis Occidental, province of Misamis Occidental. Good morning to all of you there from Misamis Occidental. Her question is, when is the ideal time to follow up if the corrective action actually was effective? Is it after a month, year, or it depends?
Depends on the action plan na dinraw up ninyo. If your action plan, the end result of the activities nun was an immediate solution, siyempre, mabilis yung follow-up, agad-agad, di ba? Kung kailan yung time implementation mo, yung follow-up mo, will be the time na ni-roll out mo yung action plan mo, after agad, di ba? So, hindi naman mahaba. But like I mentioned, some action plans probably might take longer kasi, like, kailangan may mga resources na wala kahit kailangan pa i-acquire, di ba? Baka humaba 6 months, 3 months, long-term plans yun. Kung long-term yun, di yung follow-up po, long-term din. Ba talaga yun. Sinisigurado mo hindi nila kanilimutan yun.
Yep. So thank you for clarifying that, Ted. So again, it depends on the duration or the timetables for the corrective action. I think a follow-up question there, Ted, is that, well, I have two here. Who will prepare the corrective action report and who will review and approve the corrective action report? Because I thought of the timetable. Who will decide if it's 3 months, 6 months, 1 year? Ted, please expound on that.
Okay, yung corrective action report, everybody can use that. Diba? Everybody can use. Kaya nga may form kayo for that. Kapag meron kayong kailangan i-correct, pupunta kayo sa management system, papifilapan kayo ng form kasi ang owner nga naman yan sa management system. Later on, kung sino yun, depending on the nature, i-identify yun siyempre. May basic investigation diagnosis yan ng management officer ninyo, di ba? At i-assign an action plan to the people na suitable to address the correction and the corrective action. So, kunyari, this is a technology-related item, siyempre itutulong nila kay IT. Diba? Kukuha sila ng representative doon para to help perform the actions, decide on the actions, doon sa nakita mo. Papasa yun. Sino pipirma niyan? Oo naman. Pipirma siyempre kung sino yung inassign na ng action plan, nagawa na yung action, di ba? Tapos, ang magpo-close nun siyempre yung management system, pero communicate to doon sa nag-file, kung sino yan yung nag-file, na okay na to, tinanggap na niya na okay na to. So, magsa-sign off din siyempre yung nag-request.
Alright. So just to clarify, Ted, yung person involved, meaning the owner of the non-conformance, he or she will be the one to write the corrective action report, right? Or the owner of the audit finding, if it's
yes.
the audit.
Kaya nga, di ba, si internal audit, siya nakahanap ng conformance, kinuha lang niya yung form, siya nag-file ng corrective action, di ba? Siya nag-file, siya yung user nun.
Alright. And who again is responsible in reviewing whether the proposed action plans would be feasible and the timetables are realistic? Who would influence and approve
kasi
that?
ang problema dito, kaya nga kailangan mo munang i-define yung problems para malaman mo kung sino mai-involve to determine, di ba? To assess. So, depende ulit yun sa nature of the non-conformance.
Okay.
Pwede kang gumawa ng fixed committee pa dyan kung gusto mo. Some organizations develop an ad hoc ang tawag doon. May named entity, ayun, doon sa listahan ng committee niya. Ngayon, pag related sa kanilang responsibility yung nature of the non-conformity problem, sila yung magiging members ng committee. Ganon. Pwede yun. Open-ended yan, walang dictate yan kung paano nyo gagawin sa organization nyo yan.
Okay. Thank you, Ted. Thank you for clarifying that. Our dear participants, in other words, the standard doesn't dictate as to who will write the correction, the corrective action. The ISO standard doesn't prescribe as to who will review. Again, as mentioned by Ted, this is discretionary upon the role or part of the organization. No? So that's a good suggestion, by the way, Ted. There can be a committee who would review and monitor this corrective action report. Speaking of monitoring, there's a question here from Maria Estela Nacion. Her question is it the role of the internal audit team to follow up the status of the action plan for the corrective action?
Kasi sila naman kasi ang nag-file ng corrective action. Kaya nagkataon na sila na rin yung nagpa-follow up. Pero actually yung follow up, ang tunay na ang magpa-perform nun, yung management system team, yung management officer na magpa-follow up. Kakamustahin na niya yan dapat. So which means, sa case ng internal audit, syempre kasi kasama yung follow-up sa audit plan eh. Nagkataon kasama sa proseso nila yan. Kaya nadadawit yung follow-up ng corrective action. Pero pag hindi nakasama yung internal audit, si management system na magpa-follow up. Si management system na mag-issue ng corrective action. Oo.
All right. So that's very clear. So thank you, Ted. So again, as mentioned by Ted, Ms. Nacion, usually the follow-through is part of the audit cycle. So take note that the role of the auditors, it doesn't end after you have submitted your audit report, right? You have to make sure that you follow through on those audit findings and ensure that the corrective actions are acted upon, were they effective, and then of course you can finally close it. Maybe the follow-up question here is, what if you found out during verification that the corrective action was not effective? What do you think, Ted? They found out during verification that the corrective action was really not effective. The non-conformance is still there.
Uulitin nila yan. So kapag nakita yan, isasabihin sa end report ng corrective action nyo na issue. Kasi nga, hindi nga success. Maganda yung resulta based on the follow-up. Then magre-reissue ng bagong corrective wherein magpa-perform ulit ng bagong root cause analysis para mahuli mo yung tamang cause. Uulit yung cycle na yan kasi mahuli mo talaga yun.
Yes. So there you go. So that's very clear until of course you resolve the issue. I think
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Which is much better, corrective action or preventive? Para lang malinaw. Yung corrective, kino-correct na niya diretso yung problem. Yung preventive, may potential lang na maging problem, kaya pine-prevent mo. Na I mentioned, yung corrective ang mas importante because inherently, kasama na ang preventive kapag inaksyonan mo ang corrective. Diba? Pag kinorect mo yung root cause, naturally na-prevent mo na yan from happening again. So in this case, corrective talaga dapat.
All right. Thank you, Ted. Here's another question, Ted, from Maria Belen Balbuena. Is it possible that an unidentified problem cannot be addressed because people who should address it is outside of the organization, meaning external, and the company serves only as a secretariat of this organization? I think I know what organization is this. Ted, can you answer that? Is it possible? Again, the question is it possible that an identified problem cannot be addressed because the persons involved are, again, external to the organization?
The term is possible. Oo naman. It is possible. Sometimes, hindi naman kasi within your relationship with external entity na malinaw yung pagdating sa corrective actions na involved sila. Which is labas talaga sila sa usapan. O, pwede yun. Pwede ilabas sila. Kaya nga pinapaayos ni service level management. Ayusin mo kaya yung SLA ninyo. Idawit mo sila. Pag inayos natin, ayusin natin ito together.
Right. So there you go, Miss Balbuena. I hope we were able to shed light on that concern of yours. So make sure that you involve them, because whether they are internal or external to your system, they're an important part of your QMS. By the way, take note, it's a system. If one of the components would fail, it would affect the whole system. So for me, my take here is that it is immaterial whether it's internal or external. So because they all play an important part within your system. Ted, I just thought of this because I always get this question also as far as corrective action reporting is concerned. When would you raise a corrective action report? Because the understanding here is that you can only raise corrective action report after the internal audit. Can you actually raise a corrective action report at any
kaya
time?
kami mention ko yan eh. Hindi lang si internal audit dapat ang gumagawa niyan. Yan ay open the entire 365 days. Kung sino makadiscover ng non-conformity o ng problem na yan, siya na mag-raise niyan. Kasama dapat sa awareness ni quality management system yan. Pinapaalam na, oy, pag nakita mo yung problema, i-report mo kaya. Pero kadali lang yun.
Right. Okay, so I hope that's clear, because most corrective action reports are actually generated during the audit. So it doesn't mean that you should only generate corrective action reports during the audit. As mentioned by Ted, at any time of the day, when there's a non-conformance, for example, all of a sudden there's a spike in your customer complaints, you don't have to wait for an internal audit for that. You can go right away and sit down in a team and do your corrective action reporting.
Kung patagalin, it will hurt the organization.
All right. So I'm looking at the chat box. I think we're good. I think we have answered most of those questions or clarifications.
Yes.
So it's 10:05. I think Ted, that's it for today.
Yes.
And thank you very much, Ted, for another fantastic talk on corrective action reporting.
Salamat sa inyo lahat. Salamat sa inyo lahat.
Ted has been so busy actually, despite the lockdown. So, matter of fact, Ted and I has been working round the clock on several projects, and so thank you, Ted. Thank you for your time today. And I hope our participants somehow have gained a little bit of knowledge or understanding on how to really go about this corrective action reporting. And so let me just share with you again, for next week, we are doing this problem solving, decision making. This is also for free on June 25. And this is related to, of course, our corrective action reporting. We'll talk about how to conduct root cause analysis here from the beginning and end of the process, and we'll also talk about decision making here. So we hope to see you there, and do not forget to, of course, go to our Facebook page. All right, and we have placed there all the registration links. Oh, by the way, as mentioned by Mike earlier, we have full-blown courses. So if you wanted more in-depth discussion, we have 1 day, 2 days courses. If you choose to do that, you go to our Facebook account, go to the registration link, and of course, do not forget to like our page. We also upload this recording in our YouTube channel. So I think last week we uploaded the foundations of root and latent cause analysis. we're going to upload this webinar as well after 7 days. So give us time. All right. With that, Ted and I and Mike would like to thank you all. It's a Friday. Enjoy the rest of, have a great weekend, by the way, and stay safe wherever you are. Ted, again, thank you very much. I will see you later. Thank you all, and stay safe. Thank you for joining. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.